You want to know where it's all going? I'll tell you where it's going. It's all going into the cost of living here in Boston, Massachusetts. Hey everyone, Matt Swerk here. You know I'm a local real estate expert right in Massachusetts. What do we talk about on this channel? Everything about our state. We talk about eating, sleeping, drinking, playing. We talk about some of the cost of living right here in Boston, Massachusetts. So you have questions, we have answers. Reach out any way possible. We appreciate you watching these videos. We have so much fun. Just remember, when it comes to Massachusetts, we've always got your back. All right, so today we're not talking about me with my air traffic control hand signals. We are talking today about setting expectations as far as Massachusetts is concerned. Really more as far as Boston and the greater Boston area. Whether you're just looking for a change of scenery, you want to come here to visit, you're coming here to relocate. There's a lot that comes into relocating to any state, and we just want to hit a couple things. We're always talking in different aspects as far as cost of living, and we don't want to do the same thing over and over again. So we're constantly looking to keep up with what's going on. And the first thing we want to talk about is going to be rent. Now, rent is very expensive here in Boston. Compared to other cities across the country, we're the third highest as far as our rental rate is concerned. So we have a lot of people reaching out and saying, hey, listen, can you help us find somewhere place to rent? And a lot of clients that are coming into this market are actually changing their mind about renting and getting into home ownership. And I know it's a little scary because you're like, I don't even know if I like the place. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of our clients are now looking to get into, either a starter home or a condo because they're actually looking at that and saying, hey, you know what? I can either come there for a little bit, and if I don't like the area, I'll just park this, piece of property here. Of course, it's not going anywhere unless it's a mobile home. Bad joke. But anyway, I'll just park my money here as far as my investment's concerned, and I will have a rental in the Boston area. You really can't go wrong because of all the demand and what we have as far as amenities. Segue right into amenities. I didn't plan that on purpose, I swear. Some of these things we plan, some other things just fly off the mark. So as far as amenities, again, things can be really expensive. Tyler and I went to a Bruins game a couple months ago, and we actually were talking about Newbury Street. Newbury Street, really, really nice place as far as Boston. A lot of boutiques there. You're going to pay for it. And even we made a video down at Faneuil Hall, and that's kind of, that's a tourist trap. So there's a lot of things that are very expensive as far as the amenities. There's great restaurants. I think that's one thing, I don't think people give Boston the food credit that we have here. So we have a lot of really nice restaurants. And again, because of the city, because of the location, you're going to pay for it as far as your price per plate, I guess we would say. Yeah. So I'm going back to some, you go on the restaurant reviews, it shows like the $3 or $4, as far as how expensive it is. So that's something, you definitely want to keep in mind as far as the cost of the Boston proper is definitely going to be higher. Now, there are a lot of little, kind of mom and pop places that you can find, and, with the train stations and being really accessible, especially via foot or, like I said, as far as public transportation, you can get out to some other areas with not traveling too far. And there's always, there's always going to be a place. Of course, it's going to look like the worst hole in the wall. Like I would never go eat there. I'll tell you, they're going to have the best food, they're going to have the best prices, and you're not going to spend $7 million and get a plate of food where the food is that big and you got to go to McDonald's afterwards because you're so hungry, right? So that's why I don't go out to those fancy restaurants. I like the atmosphere, but I'm hungry, I got to eat. So the other thing as far as as renting is concerned is that there are a lot of cheaper apartments that are available in Boston. Okay. Now we have to be careful because now, mind you, the medium rent is very high. We've just talked about that. However, you can find some places that are going to be lower cost. Low cost comes with a cost, right? Of course. What would that be? I don't know, maybe you have your apartment that's missing some drywall and has some holes in the wall, and it's not really that big deal, right? Like, you can deal with that. Maybe not. Another thing is that maybe some of those low-priced units are not in the most friendly or updated condition. Maybe you're going to instantly rent a place. You're going to have roommates. And I'm not talking about someone that you brought in with you. Like, maybe you're going to have a bunch of cockroaches that have infested, or bed bugs, right? Yes, these are all true stories of things that we've dealt with. So, and I'm not looking to scare you away as far as renting is concerned. But you want to just be cautious about that as far as looking to see, what you're going to get as far as the bang for your buck. And again, one of the things I think is really interesting, and I've lived in, I had this awesome place in East Boston, and because Massachusetts as a whole is an older state, right? And of course, Boston is, so yeah, it's all old. It's all old, or experienced, historical, whatever you want to say, but it's old. And a lot of the properties are non-conforming. They're really small. It's definitely, we had oh my gosh, I can't think was it Boston Interiors? Boston Interiors was a company, and I don't know if they're still around, but they specifically manufactured furniture, or sold furniture. They didn't manufacture it, they sold it. But they specifically sold furniture that was smaller and could be put together in pieces once you got it inside, because of all these non-conforming buildings. Like, the hallways are this tight, and trying to move things, like, oh my gosh, it can be a nightmare. Right, like, you can easily block out the hallway because you get the couch stuck as you're trying to pivot it in the corner. So I'm all about leveraging, and I'm always about, like, how do I save my time? And you're either going to spend time, you're going to spend money. And I'll tell you right now, here's my super tip: hire a mover if you're moving into one of these tiny places with the hallways this tight, because it is not worth the aggravation. I promise. So, financial tip of the day: when you look to move into one of these places that's non-conforming, get a moving company. Let them deal with the aggravation. Let them start swearing at each other. Don't be swearing at your friends and family. It's not going to be worthwhile. So, all right. The other thing, as far as the Boston area is concerned, there are some affordable places as far as the North and South Shore, and there's always, I got my real estate hat on right here, right now. Like, there's no lie about this, okay? Like, we're talking real estate. There's always a good deal, regardless of where you're going and regardless of what the market is. And it's really just about finding those areas and understanding what the amenities are, what you can live with, what you really need, and how do you couple this together so that way you get a great location, great price that really fits your needs. So, I know that they say there's no housing anywhere, there's no houses for the rent, there's no houses for this. There's tons of properties out there. We just got to go find them. So there's lots of value still, in and around the city. Another point that we like to talk about that in regards to cost of living is concerned is going to be our insurance, right? This is something like, this can really throw people for a loop depending on where you are as far as the city's concerned. Tyler likes to, he gives me like little hints here and there. He's like, Matt, why don't you bring up this one? And I'm like, I'm not calling out a specific neighborhood like that, Tyler. Like, you got to be kidding me. You should see some of the, I'm not going to say that everyone that watches the videos is pretty nice to us for the most part. We get some really interesting feedback that we laugh about. Sometimes I'm like, I can't believe they said that about me, but whatever. So anyway, so when it comes to insurance, it's the city, right? And a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of them have my attitude, but we pay to have our cars insured, right? So if we bumped each other and we had a little friendly kiss of the bumpers, it is what it is, right? I get another scratch on my truck, I don't really care. You do that to my wife's car, she's going to freak out. And she actually hit my truck. It's a whole other story. So anyway, it wasn't bad. And I scraped the front of my truck on a wall the other day, and I was like, hey, when you hit my truck, did you happen to hit on this side? And she was like, I think I did. I tried to pan it up that it was her, but I was like, I don't think so. She's looking at it, and she's like, my car's not that high, Matt. She's like, I think you might have hit something. And I'm like, yeah, I hit a stone wall. So anyway, I was trying to blame her by, no, I was kidding. I wasn't trying to blame. All right, I was lying. I was kind of joking around, making it was her fault, but whatever. It wasn't that bad. It's not that bad. Whatever. Off of this subject, on to the next. So yeah, see, we have insurance. If she's smashing my car, and we had to get both of them got totaled, no problem. We pay $500 deductible, and we get new cars. Yeah, our insurance is going up, but anyway. So insurance is definitely going to be one of those costs that goes up, depending on where you are. And I think just as far as vehicles in general, Boston we talk about this, it's a small city. So a lot of people don't need to have a car. right? We have public transportation, which is going to be buses, trains, commuter rails, trolleys. It's not like the trolleys you think in San Francisco, but we have the trolleys, if you will. So a lot of people don't need that, so you're not going to have to pay to have your car insured. You're not going to have to pay for parking. So that's another thing too. We'll throw the parking in as far as your insurance is concerned. So having a vehicle can cost a lot of extra money that you don't necessarily need. Okay, I'm just thinking about some of the parking spaces. It's like, hold on. All right, so. The last thing we want to talk about is that we talk a lot about the costs, right? However, the thing that backs us up and makes there's so many things that make it a great state. It's not just this, but what really backs up our high cost of living is going to be our wages. So we have a lot of jobs here. We have great salaries. So a lot of people, just will complain about it's so expensive here and all the taxes and woe is us and we have all these, right? Well, we got great wages, right? So it makes sense. We talk about, well, geez, my mom moved to South Carolina. She built a brand new house for $250,000, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, like unbelievable, single level. I'm sitting here like $250,000. That's not going to really get you much here in Massachusetts. But again, the cost of living is much lower down there and the wages are much lower. So that is all relevant it's typically relevant as far as what your cost of living is going to be what your wages are. So if you have high wages, you can support high cost of living, come to Massachusetts. It's not that bad. All right, so that's just a couple little points as far as the cost of living in Boston, Massachusetts. There's a lot more. We could be here for hours. Whether you're looking to rent or relocate or you just want to come visit, definitely reach out to us. We love fielding all the phone calls and all the text messages and all the emails that come through and the messengers. We love everything. We have different systems to get back to you as soon as we can to make sure we service your needs. So you have questions, we have answers. Reach out anyway. As always, when it comes to Massachusetts, just remember, we've always got your back.